I think I've gained a lot of confidence over this fellowship year. We led a Zumba class. That's something that was definitely out of my comfort zone. The project definitely started out as just a dream.
We were scouring our community, trying to find what is the greatest need. And as we kept on reaching out to people, they kept on pointing us to Cahaba Medical Care West End. They wanted to start a fitness class, and they'd been trying to do that for a really long time, but nobody had been able to start it.
I think at the start, we had to build trust with the people in our community. It was very helpful to get to work with Grace Santa and a team of people and make it into something that was a reality. You can make small, consistent efforts that add up over time. Every day we come into class and they have so much energy and excitement and enthusiasm for what we're doing.
We'll get in circles and talk through certain aspects of health beforehand. It's amazing the difference that each woman experienced. I think that was really beneficial for us to see as we're going to be doctors one day. Your health is not just your body, but it's also your mind and it's your spirit. And inviting people into conversations about each of those things and delving into it as deeply as they want to go.
I feel like a lot of the support we've had through the fellowship has actually been from the people that are coming and dancing with us. It was very impactful on me and them, I think, to see that I could do something that would help people in a meaningful way. Getting to see people open up to us over the course of the fellowship has been really, really wonderful.
My name is Kinsley Brewis. I am a Doctor of Audiology student at Auburn University. We work with the Auburn Rural Health Initiative through Chambers County Community Health and Wellness Center to provide all kinds of healthcare to individuals who don't have access to it. And it really has just shown me that showing up and being accessible is the best that we can do, because there are people that want to use our services. They just don't necessarily have the means to get there. I think there's going to be a lot of things that stick with me after the program ends. One of the major things is the relationships that I have built with the community in Chambers County. They have all given me well wishes as the project is starting to come to a close and have asked ways to keep up with me and my academic journey throughout the rest of my program. One of the places that I really feel like I've grown the most is that I have the confidence to implement and try new things and know how to make pivots and turn things around when it's not actually going in the direction that you think it's going to go, but how to make the best out of each moment and turn it into something that's going to be impactful.
My project was focusing on breast cancer awareness and health education for Black girls under 40. So normal mammogram age is about 40, so all the girls under that age group are getting missed. But the disparities in the cancer statistics are kind of moving younger. I met two girls at two different spaces of the events that I went to, and one of them said, "Hey, my grandma had breast cancer," and she was just kind of terrified because she knew that, but she didn't know what to do with the information. So I showed her how to do self-breast exams. I pointed her to local groups in Birmingham that could help her with that. So she was like really attentive, and it really made a difference to her. So knowing that the message is getting out there and it's going to the right people and it's actually being received is actually really, really cool. There were events that I went to there were older women and there were no girls under 40 there. So even if my message wasn't for them, they still knew somebody and they pointed me to that direction. So showing up consistently, even if it's not what you think it's gonna be, ended up being really, really helpful.
Being a part of the fellowship has really taught me how to identify and meet a community's needs for where they are at like a certain point in time rather than where I think they are. It's been really tricky to kind of make our lessons in a way that we're not lecturing the kids and having them memorize facts, but really just getting them exposed to people and things that are different from themselves.
Being able to adapt and communicate very complex ideas and things to an audience for them to like effectively understand it and remember it is very important, especially in medicine. So I think being able to do that with children is a very big lesson that I'm gonna take.
It's hard to make an impact unless you're there for a long period of time, and it takes a really long time to connect with the community, to understand their needs, their interests, their wants. It's not about one lesson or one specific fact that we want the kids to take away from our lessons, but seeing them build trust in us over time and connect with us, and the amount that we've grown together has reinforced the idea of a lasting service commitment.
A lot of lessons that I've learned in this project, being able to effectively communicate and being consistent is a huge thing. When I had to do this fellowship, I had to learn, like, I had to be more consistent. I have to communicate more efficiently and be able to actually do what I need to do to actually help the community that I'm trying to service. I'm really working with postpartum moms, so 0 to 12 months postpartum, but actually doing the research about different things like postpartum depression and baby blues, seeing the statistics of how many moms go through that kind of really affirmed it. And then seeing how they don't realize that mindfulness self-care is okay for them to do, especially since they're so honed on working with their babies and making sure they're fed, they're clothed. I'm really just focused on trying to make sure to make an impact and make sure that they're able to do the things. It kind of showed me how much obstacles can get in the way, and just having to learn how to do it differently to be able to reach who you're trying to reach and be able to talk efficiently throughout that time.
My fellowship has been a year of constant change, which is something prior to the fellowship I just was not comfortable with. I've had to make changes with my project up until probably a month ago. And so realizing that the importance of the project is not accomplishing point A to point B, but rather meeting my participants and my men where they're at and making sure that they feel heard and seen. I had a participant call me by name and they said, "Hey, Callahan," and asked me a question. And there's just something about somebody recognizing you by your own name and really hearing you for who you are. And I kind of took that experience and realized how important just that relationship building was, rather than maybe what my project could accomplish. Substance use is something that comes through all ages. And so hopefully my experience with working with people with substance use disorder will help me have some compassion and understanding for those patients who come through my door as I pursue becoming a nurse practitioner.
So I think professionally and as a leader, I've grown immensely in my ability to be adaptable and persistent. With our project specifically, had like a lot of administrative hurdles, and we ended up shifting our approach to be more like conversational and really be able to gather feedback from the community in real time.
I learned how to meet communities where they are, to listen first and be an advocate for the needs that they may have.
And just having conversations with the community, we really were able to complete like a good needs-based assessment, really understand what people's barriers were to exercise, what kind of things they wanted to see, and then take those back to our mentors and have open conversations about how we could take those themes and like really translate them into tangible handouts.
Community service isn't just about, top-down level structure, go into a community and just give, but it's also forming those, again, relationships and partnerships to understand what this community needs and how to address that need specifically. While academics has its role in education, it also can be used as a tool to be able to disseminate this information, being able to implement that and translate that to the public health sphere. I think is going to be really important as I move forward in my career.
Hopefully our project will live on after we are finished with our fellowship year.
The community partner that I'm working with is the Alabama Interfaith Refugee Partnership. I would do different tabling sessions on a weekly basis at ESL classes that were already going on at their facility. I would be providing different informational sheets about like college readiness and different resources and community partners. As I was going, week by week, there would be like one person that I would see who would be at those ESL sessions and who would see my table, but he would never come up to my table. Sometimes people have the interest, but they're kind of just scared of how to kind of approach that conversation, or they don't know how to start that conversation. By continuing to show up and actually having that presence, it makes them more comfortable in talking to me and kind of having that first step. And so if I'm gonna go into a community and be like, hey, I have this program, I want you to follow it, like that's never gonna work. So I think the importance of just first showing up and establishing who you are and kind of just having small interactions with the community is a really good first step.